The worse the panic gets, the higher the chances that Voyager doesn't make it out of this. All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk to you about Voyager Digital. I did a video on them 2 days ago, and I kind of have an emergency update. They put out a press release today that I think changed things in a pretty significant way, so I wanted to update that video because it is now out of date based on the new information that Voyager has provided to us today. So I want to go through that press release. I'm going to go through what's happening to the stock. The stock is falling through the floor right now. It's down over 60% on the day today. So we will look at the stock. We will look at the chart later. Right now, I just want to get you this update so that everybody knows what's going on and why it's so important. Okay, this was put out at 7:45 Eastern time this morning. Voyager Digital provides market update. By the way, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And of course, everybody please smash the like button. Helps the channel out a lot and I really appreciate it. So, okay, let's get back to the press release. Voyager Digital today announced its subsidiary, Voyager Digital Holding, has entered into a definitive agreement with Alameda Ventures related to the previously disclosed credit facility, which is intended to help Voyager meet customer liquidity needs during this dynamic period. So I went through the previous press release, which announced this, and essentially this was a $200 million line of credit for cash with an additional 15,000 Bitcoin behind that. So all told, this was about a $500 million line of credit. So at the time, that looked like it was potentially going to serve as a bridge to avoid a run on Voyager, which is what they're trying to avoid because they have some counterparty risk that we'll get into, that they've also finally disclosed the information on that as well. So as of 2 days ago, it was pretty much assumed they had this risk with a company called 3 Arrow, but now they have confirmed it and they have told us what the extent of that risk is, and unfortunately it's worse than people thought. Okay, so Voyager Digital Holding entered into a definitive agreement with Alameda for a $200 million cash and USDC revolver and a 15,000 Bitcoin revolver loan. As previously disclosed, the proceeds of the credit facility are intended to be used to safeguard customer assets in light of current market volatility and only if such use is needed. In addition to this facility, as of June 20th, 2022, Voyager has approximately $152 million of cash and owned cryptocurrency assets on hand, as well as approximately $20 million of cash that's restricted for the purchase of USDC. Okay, so that in general was the terms as they were disclosed 2 days ago. Now, I'm going to get into some of the specifics that they disclosed today that, in my opinion, fundamentally change the nature of this line of credit. And whereas it's meant to serve as a backstop, it's actually undermining itself, in my opinion. Again, this isn't financial advice. Please, you guys read this yourselves and dig into this situation because it is very complicated. But I'm going to give you what my thoughts are on why the market is selling Voyager and why it is crashing today. And it's this next sentence. Alameda's obligation to provide funding is subject to certain conditions, which include no more than $75 million may be drawn down over any rolling 30-day period. So I'm not even going to get into the rest of the conditions. That $75 million over a 30-day period turns this $500 million facility into a $75 million facility, because the whole point of this facility is to avoid a run on Voyager, meaning that all of their customers come out at once, lose their confidence, and try to get their money back. So with $500 million of a backstop, that was giving the market confidence, and Voyager was up 20% yesterday. So that gave the market some good confidence that there was backing and supporting here so that people did not need to panic and they did not need to take their money out of Voyager. But now when we find out today that basically, essentially what this says is the first $75 million is guaranteed, and then there's 30-day hold after that because no more than $75 million can be drawn down in a 30-day rolling period. So for the first 30 days, this is not a $500 million backstop, it's a $75 million backstop, and that is a drastic difference, especially when you see the exposure to 3 Arrow that they have now disclosed. So let's go to that part of press release. Voyager concurrently announced that its operating subsidiary, Voyager Digital LLC, may issue a notice of default to 3 Arrow for failure to repay its loan. Voyager's exposure to 3AC, which is 3 Arrow Capital, consists of 15,250 Bitcoin and $350 million. So that's about $650 million of exposure. Now that's more than the $500 million loan they were getting. But when put against the fact that they can only use $75 million of that at a time, they're looking at $600 million of exposure between Bitcoin and USDC USD versus $75 million of liquidity. Now, they do have another, like they said, another 150 million past that. But the 150 million they have plus the 75 million they can borrow still is not enough to avoid a run on Voyager. So I don't have any data from today, but I imagine people are trying to take their money out of Voyager right now as we speak. So again, this is not financial advice. I can't confirm that, but based on what's happening to the stock, which is a total collapse, and you're going to see when we get to the chart, the stock is down over 60% so far today, and we're only about 2 hours into the trading day. So I think this news is hitting everybody roughly the same way as I'm interpreting it. So obviously, please read it yourself and try and understand it yourself. The company made an initial request for a payment of $25 million by June 24th and subsequently requested repayment of the entire balance of USDC. So that was $350 million of USDC by June 27th, which is just a few days from now. Neither of these amounts have been repaid, and failure by 3AC to repay either requested amount by these specified dates will constitute an event of default. Voyager intends to pursue recovery from 3AC and is in discussions with the company's advisors regarding the legal remedies available. The company is unable to assess at this point the amount it will be able to recover from 3AC. So that is the entire situation. They've got $650 million of exposure, and it says right here they are unable to assess at this point the amount it will be able to recover. So that's their exposure. They've gotten none of it back so far, and we don't know what the situation is at 3AC. So Voyager's future right now is basically completely tied to 3 Arrow's ability to get them at least some amount of this money back. Even if it was 50 cents on the dollar, I think that would probably, if it was in a timely manner, that may be enough to save Voyager. And again, I'm totally speculating here. We don't know what the exposure is. We don't know to what extent people are trying to take their money out of Voyager right now. The one thing we do know is people are selling the stock vigorously because it's down over 60%. So just a couple of quick headlines, and I'm not even going to read these because we just went into a deeper dive than these guys did, but this is from CoinDesk. Voyager Digital slumps after disclosing 3 Arrows exposure. The crypto broker said it's on the hook for about 370 million of Bitcoin and 350 million of USDC. So that's actually over $700 million, and has asked for a repayment installment by Friday. MarketWatch says Voyager Digital shares tumble amid 3AC potential default. So again, this is a little bit of an overview. We just did a much deeper dive, but I just wanted to let you know, like, everybody is kind of topside letting people know the stock is falling. I wanted to dig a little deeper and let everybody know why. Okay, so let's go to the chart. This is Voyager Digital on the 1-day time frame. So each one of these candles represents 1 day. This big red candle is today. So you'll see Voyager right now is trading at 48 cents. That is on about a 20-minute delay because this is an over-the-counter stock. However, I will tell you, for the last hour, it's been fluctuating somewhere between 47 cents and 52 cents, all of which is somewhere in the neighborhood of down 60%. So it seems to have leveled off down 60% for the moment, but again, we're only a few hours into the trading day. The volume is astronomical on this. Right now, the volume, and it's 11:09 a.m. Eastern time, so the market's been open for an hour and a half. There have been 9.4 million shares of this traded. Their average daily volume, their 10-day average daily volume is 1.25 million for the day. They're at 9 million an hour and a half into the day. So this is massive, massive trading. You can see this got as low at one point as 43 cents. So we don't know where it's going the rest of the day. It has stabilized for about the last half hour, but I have no idea where this is going the rest of the day. This is obviously a fluid situation, and this stock is down drastically. Essentially, in the month of June, this stock is down 84%, but that's no surprise because 62% of that is today. So while this stock was already on the way down, today is a massive move to the downside. Just to take a look at how much this stock has fallen altogether in a relatively short period of time. This stock hit its all-time high in April of 2021, so that was actually a little over 52 weeks ago, so it's outside of the 52-week window. And then it hit another local high on November 8th. So I'm going to measure from those 2 points. So you can see in total from its high about about 14 months ago, this is down over 98%. But if we pick a more recent number and we just use its November 2021 high, which was just 7 months ago, this stock is still down 97% from its high of 7 months ago. So this stock is tanking. It was on the way down for a long time. All these small cap, high growth stocks have been caught up in this. All the cryptocurrency world is down, in a bit of a crypto winter, if you will. In addition to that, the cryptocurrency exchanges have a lot of counterparty risk that is getting exposed with cryptocurrency down as much as it is. So we've already seen with the Terra Luna situation, that was a massive ecosystem that got completely wiped out. Celsius currently is on hold and not giving any withdrawals. And now Voyager here looks like they're going to have a big problem. So I will tell you, and again, this is not financial advice. I'm giving my opinion. I don't know how Voyager gets out of this problem. This looked like a big problem that they were managing a couple of days ago, but now with $700 million of exposure to Three Arrow Capital and with the massive restrictions on the loan that they were given, restricting them to $75 million in a 30-day rolling window, those two things change the equation dramatically. So can they survive? Of course, certainly they can survive. They may redo the terms of this if need be. Alameda may be amicable to redoing the terms in order to prevent them from going out of business. They may have some other support from somebody else, and or Three Arrow Capital could come in and maybe pay this debt back or some portion of this debt back, which would greatly change the confidence level in this stock. But for the moment, everybody is in a panic, understandably. So the worse the panic gets, the higher the chances that Voyager doesn't make it out of this. So by no means am I calling that they're going out of business, but I will say that they are in trouble. This situation has changed dramatically. So please be careful trading Voyager. If you own Voyager, please do your own due diligence, dig into this, and try to figure out for yourself what's going on and if this is a level of risk that you can tolerate. So that's my update. More to come again. So we don't really know in the end what's going to happen yet, but this was some major additional news that I wanted to get out to everybody. So thanks for watching. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe and smash the like button, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks.